Hey there, I'm Celtic,
and welcome to the Player's Bargain Bin.
This channel is dedicated to breaking down and reviewing free-to-play games to help the everyday player like you save time, digital storage space, and the lend aid in making that decision whether it's worth it or not. So do yourself a favor, save yourself some time, and tune in for some insight, guys. So today we're going to go over a game called Deathverse Let It Die. Deathverse Let It Die is a free-to-play game made with Unreal Engine by Gung Ho Online Inc. and Super Trick Games. Deathverse Let It Die is a solo multiplayer melee hand-to-hand combat battle royale with a TV reality game show theme. It is key and mouse compatible as well as controller. The game is 16 players per round. The matches are primarily PvP based with some PvE elements introduced. The matches are about 5 to 10 minutes long depending on your survival. While these matches are ongoing, there is a hunter that will be released to spice things up and you'll want to avoid them. There are also creatures in game that are both passive and aggressive. You can slay these for upgrade materials, and you can also collect materials in other ways. These items are hidden in various places such as PvE creatures as mentioned, on the ground, in boxes, and for rewards. These materials are used to upgrade weapons and cosmetics at your base/menu. You do have a base, it is part of the menu. While in game, there are also power-ups that can help scale your attacks. This is represented by what is called GP. You can get GP through combat and consuming a variation of mushrooms. There is an assortment of weapons, and each come with various skills to acquire, an upgrade for perks and cosmetic looks, and as well as cosmetic skins for your character, your Wilson location scanner as I call it, and your base. There are things to craft as well as challenges to complete. Daily you will get a login bonus, and as you level up you will be rewarded with currency, materials, skins, and other goodies. You get additional rewards from a free line battle pass. The battle pass upgrade can be acquired for free with a little grinding, at least at this point in time as I've acquired it this way. You can also acquire it via microtransaction. There's also 2 upgrades to that battle pass, or season pass is what they like to call it. I'm not sure what comes with those, so that's at your own transaction and whatnot. Deathverse had a rocky launch about the first 35 hours or so of its release. Because of this, the Steam reviews aren't too positive about the game, guys. That being a game with a predecessor, many compared it to the previous and expected similar. Deathverse Let It Die is its own game aside from its predecessor. So, which integration will be introduced and is supposedly coming soon? This will allow players to spectate streamers and interact with games that are in progress. The match queues can take a couple minutes, typically between 1 and 3 minutes, 2 on average. During the day, that's about what it takes. At night, it might take a minute or so longer. But being a smaller game, that's expected. Before a recent update, the queues would take longer, and bots were definitely more prevalent in matches. Because of the update to reduce wait queues, one of the 2 game modes offered were removed, unfortunately, but it did help reduce the queue times. Ranked for the competitive players and Exhibition for the casuals. Exhibition was removed with the last update, but I'm sure it will be back with a player base increase. Overall, when I first played the game, I didn't know what to think of it, guys, as it has some rather trippy and wacky feels. But once I understood it a bit more and how to play and what was for what, the game was actually pretty fun. In conclusion, I find Deathverse Let It Die's graphics to be pretty good, solid animations, funky fresh theme. The overall gameplay is smooth with seldom and rare lag. The Battle Royale game mode is a common game mode, and in my opinion highly saturated nowadays. While common and saturated, this game is unique in its own style and way, and it separates itself from the rest. First, there aren't too many melees out there in the genre. Second, the level designs and the way they are laid out are pretty neat and creative. There are usually various floors on each section of the map, and the way the zones close are pretty unique compared to the typical circles of death. So you'll definitely want to check that out. In my opinion, the gameplay can be a touch addictive as you grind to see what the next weapon that you acquire is capable of and how you can upgrade them, among other things. The combat has a Souls-like feel to it, and by that I mean dodging, blocking, and parrying come into play. The only negative things about the combat is that some weapons need some minor adjustments in my opinion, such as one of the hammers. I think it's wind-up tied and needs adjusted slightly, because you have a mallet that smacks for 300 and a katana smacks for 150, and they both hit the same speed of rate of speed. So to me, that needs adjusted. So moving on. Besides that, it's easy to be spam locked if you don't know what you're doing, or locked in a corner. Once hit, you're stunned, which is understandable to an extent, but a lot of times it keeps you from evading or dodging and needs some tweaking, in my opinion. With all this said, and excluding its release problems and at current time, I rate Deathverse Let It Die a 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend trying it and not letting the Steam reviews dictate the decision. It is rather fun in my opinion, and Deathverse deserves some attention, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you found this helpful. If you did, drop a like and subscribe. If you have questions or want to point out something I missed, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't find this content helpful, or you just didn't like it, drop a dislike, but let me know how I can improve in the future in the comments below as well, guys. Till next time, and peace.